Following up on our last operating video where we saw the mill switcher or transfer returning to the interchange yard and being split into east and west blocks for Conrail pickup, we see here in this video the yard assignment doing further work in and around the interchange yard, pulling releases from the local industries in C-zone. For motive power today, we're using the GP9 MP15 AC consist that we've used for quite some time, but today it seems to be exhibiting some odd behavior, causing random uncouplings, which I've tried as best as possible to edit out of the video. But at the end, we'll do a bit of investigating and see what's going on. Here's a snapshot of the switch list for this area. The column we're going to be mostly concentrating on in this video is the middle column where it says released to. So you see the car numbers and the two train ID numbers, so that tells you whether they're going eastbound, westbound, or northbound. Unfortunately, I won't be able to show you how the Boston and Maine car was pulled from the abrasives manufacturer because we had a bit of a mishap with a runaway train, which happens when you let the battery run down in your controller. I am trying a new perspective for this video because this is one of the narrowest sections of the layout and it's always hard to shoot videos here. So I've got the camera up on a small tripod on top of a ladder, which means that I can't swivel left and right to pan with the movement of the train. So I've put it on a slight wide angle view. It gives you a nice overview of the area, but you'll see the trains darting in and out for left or right of the scene rather than following the train along exactly as it's going back and forth. The first order of business today is to run around the 40-foot boxcar. You can see at the extreme right of the frame because that is a car that was on hold for the warehouse. So we're going to pick that one up and take it with us to the warehouse where we're going to pull two of the three cars that are spotted there. I guess I should mention that behind this wall, behind the backdrop, is the furnace room for our house, and given the heat wave that's been going on here for weeks and weeks and weeks, the air conditioner is working overtime, so that low rumble you hear throughout this video is the air conditioner pumping cool air throughout the house. One of the other difficulties in filming this part of the layout is the myriad of hidden uncoupling magnets, which creates an awful lot of workload in post-processing and trying to eliminate the uncouplings, the unwanted uncouplings that take place. So you'll see here some additional movements to move beyond the magnets and hoping that the cars will stay coupled moving forward. They often don't, and I managed to get some of the uncouplings taken out during post-processing, but there you saw one where it just was too much effort. So you see the 050 helping out. With the two releases in the clear, we'll now spot the inbound 40-foot boxcar at the same door that the last 40-foot boxcar was spotted. Normally you don't see locomotives in a consist uncoupling from each other, but there's obviously something going on between the GP9 and MP15AC because it happened quite a bit during this operating session. And I think it's because even though they're speed matched or closely speed matched, there's some jiggling going on or stuttering on one of the two locomotives, and that's what causes cars and locomotives to uncouple. If there's any amount of contrary motion between the two cars or two locomotives as they go over an uncoupling magnet, they will uncouple. You need to keep tension between the couplers to run over these magnets. Our crew is now heading down to the interchange tracks where the Bangor and Aroostook boxcar will be set over onto the eastbound block for pickup later by Conrail. The Alberta covered hopper car is a hold that there wasn't enough room for, so after we pull the tank car and the two empty covered hopper cars, set those aside, then we'll place the Alberta covered hopper for unloading between the buildings. We have a load of cereal in a 60-foot boxcar inside the building on track number 2 that we're going to reach in and try and couple up to. It took us a couple of tries, but we got her coupled up. And now that we're stopped here, we're going to uncouple from the 4 outbound cars and place the load back onto track 1 for unloading. The speed here is admittedly a little fast, but that's because I'm trying to keep the tension on the couplers as I pass over the uncoupling magnets. We're going to spot these 4 cars here for now. We'll come back later to sort them a little bit based on where they're ultimately going. But first we have to run over to another industry in this zone. This track can hold up to 5 60-foot auto parts box cars, but today we're only pulling 1. Remember those cars we brought down to the interchange tracks from the warehouse? Here's one of them, the Bangor and Roostukbot car that we said we would be sorting out later. Well, later is now. So the Bangor and Roostuk car goes eastbound, and we're going to put it on top of the Boston and Maine car. Just off the screen to the left is the CP 40-foot box car that we're going to grab onto after this and take it, along with the CPAA 60-foot box car, down to the other end of the yard for further sorting. This bit of switching is just the mundane sort of thing you have to do to make sure you have the cars in the right order on the right track to make the right connection. So we've got two covered hoppers and the CP 40-foot boxcar all like to be lined up on the same track, as they will be part of the northbound Quebec and New England train leaving later today. With this bit of switching completed, our crew will take the Grand Trunk box car loaded with cereals and the empty tank car back down to the interchange tracks, where they can be placed on their respective cuts for Conrail connection. So I set up this test between what should be identical Genesis locomotives, under the hood anyway, and it looks like the MP15AC stutters a bit, but I can't say anything else. So next time we'll see how two GP9s work together, back to back. As always, thank you for watching. If you enjoy layout improvement videos, here are a few others that you may find interesting. If you're not already a subscriber, you can click on the logo on the top right-hand corner of your screen.